Hi, good afternoon. Welcome again to Island Up in Fort. I'm Lenward Duhane. Today at Taekwondo, and I have with me Master David Leider, and he's a part of the Cayman Islands Taekwondo Federation. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Glad to be here. Tell us a little about yourself and how you get involved in Taekwondo.
Well, when I was a child in my teens, I did Taekwondo for a few years, and then life got in the way, and I did other things. And then when I was in my 30s, my children started Taekwondo, and they asked, "Dad, can you come take it with us? Because you did it before." So I did, and everything came back, and I remembered things, and so me and my children, a few years later, got our black belts, and our instructor left, and we took over the school, and I had 3 schools at one time, and then I combined them into one very large school, one of the largest schools in the U.S.
Right.
It's outside of Houston, Texas, and now my son runs it. I am a 6th Dan Taekwondo black belt. I'm also an international Taekwondo referee for World Taekwondo, so I have traveled all over the world.
So you have to help me here because I don't. When you say you are a 6th belt Taekwondo, what that mean? Explain to us.
Okay.
Because,
So you go through belts. You start as a white belt,
Right.
and then as you get a little bit more experience, after several months, you become a yellow belt, and then many more months, a green and blue, and then red, and then eventually you get to black belt. And usually they take around 3 years or so or more to get a black belt. Okay. And
How good you have to be to get a black belt?
you've got to be proficient. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not that you can teach it yet. You're not perfect. Okay. You still have a lot to learn.
Right.
Getting your first degree black belt is kind of like graduating high school,
Okay.
basically.
You have other levels to go.
Yes. And then there's a 2nd degree, which takes a couple years, and then a 3rd, which maybe takes 3 or 4 years, and so on and forth. It gets more and more every time.
Okay.
Around the time you become a 4th degree black belt, you become a master instructor, and that's kind of like graduating college.
Yes.
Okay. Then the higher you get, it's kind of like getting your PhD. Okay. So it's kind of like that. If
Right.
you want to think of it in the school sense.
In the school sense.
Yes.
Yes. And then what brings you to the Cayman Islands so you get involved with Taekwondo here?
About 12 years ago, me and my wife came down and we bought a house here over on Grand Cayman on the north side, and we loved it, and we decided we want to be here more. So we now live here half the year, and then half the year we still live in Texas where our kids and our grandkids are.
Okay.
And so I came down here to Cayman Islands, and I got to talking to the head of the Taekwondo Federation, Master Steve Graham.
Right.
And we started working together doing Taekwondo, and now we're trying to grow the federation. So we just want to help all the kids, get the benefits of Taekwondo.
All right, I'm gonna ask you a question now because for me, karate. When you hear Taekwondo, you believe it's karate. You believe it's the kicking and so on. What's the difference between karate and Taekwondo?
Great question. Karate comes from Japan, number 1.
Right.
Taekwondo comes from Korea.
Okay.
All right. And they had martial arts and a form of Taekwondo in Korea before the Japanese occupations in the early 1900s.
Right.
Okay. But they made them stop doing it in Korea, okay, to make them defenseless so they could control them better. But they still did it underground. And then some Koreans were taken over to Japan, enslaved over there, and they eventually did karate over there. Okay. And then when the war was over, World War II in 1945, then Korea got back together and they were starting to do things. That's when they started formalizing Taekwondo. So Taekwondo has some roots from karate and also from Taekyon, which was before 1900s or so. And they put all this together, and karate is a lot of hands motion, blocking and punching and striking with the hands and the fist, where Taekwondo is more kicking than punching.
Okay.
Roughly 70% kicking, 30% punching or so.
Yeah.
So and Taekwondo is also known for the high flying kicks and everything you see in the demonstrations and all. That's Taekwondo is known for.
Taekwondo uniform. And share with us now the importance of Taekwondo, the importance of this sport. Why is it important to learn it?
It creates great discipline in the students. It creates fitness.
Yeah.
It creates focus. It creates self-control and indomitable spirit, which is the what's inside of us to not give up and to persevere and to go forward. Yes, determination in not just here in the gym, but in life.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and in life.
Yeah.
And
The life discipline. As you talk about discipline, you put, being here with the kids, I see you put a lot of emphasis on discipline. Why?
Why? Because especially nowadays they are lacking.
Yes.
Okay, in discipline at home and school. So it's important for us to help, instill that in them. And but if you don't have discipline, you're going to be fidgeting around and not focusing and paying attention, and you won't learn and do the best that you can.
Right.
All right, we must, pay attention so we can do our best.
And then I've seen in research now where the Olympics, Taekwondo was introduced in the Olympics, and then in I believe 2000 it was really where you could get medals and so on in the Olympics.
Yes, in 2000, Taekwondo became an Olympic sport.
Olympic sport.
It was actually in the 1988 and 1992 Olympics as a demonstration sport, and then in 2000 in, I believe that was Sydney, was the first year it became a medal sport.
A medal sport. All right. So, but I see where they have the Olympic styles, and is there a different style from the Olympic style? What are the style of the Taekwondo? Do the other championship use different style from the Olympics?
Okay. Yes, the Olympics are they're run by the governing bodies of the different sports.
Yes.
Okay, there's 30 some odd sports in the Olympics. And so World Taekwondo is the governing body for Taekwondo in the Olympics. And we do a style called Olympic sparring, okay, where it's full contact. Okay, there are rules. Nowadays we use electronic scoring. We have electronic headgear for kicks to the head. We have electronic trunk protectors for kicks, punches to the bodies. Okay, so it's very well controlled, and we have the electronic scoring to make things more transparent. Okay, there's also different kind of organizations that do other kind of styles. Like there's a point sparring, which is actually how I came up. When I grew up, we just did point sparring where it was light contact, very controlled, and judges scored everything, and you had to stop, and they'd score you, and then you start again. Where Olympic is just bam, 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 you score, you get scored on, whatever, it's just they keep going.
Okay, so the Olympics is different from some other areas that you're saying?
Yes.
So
yes, sir.
The scoring system that you may have at another championship, you mean that the Olympics have its own style?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But all the championships that, as a federation, we will do, will be doing the Olympic style sparring, where they, kick a punch and kick a punch, and, they just keep going and going. We also do forms, okay, set motions, where you block and you punch or you kick a certain way. And these are, in Korea, these are called poomsaes.
Yeah.
So they have poomsae championships too, where all they focus on is the poomsaes, the forms. Okay, and some of it's very pretty, but it's got to be strong as well. It's choreographed. So that's becoming a very large competition as well. They have world championships for that. It's not the Olympics yet, but someday it could be. Yes.
Master David Leider, I'm gonna ask you a question, maybe out of the box. What if you are here now and out of nowhere, I just come and punch you? What's the discipline in that? You punch me over, what would happen?
Okay, very good question. Hopefully, you punch me, hopefully I see it deflected some. But if I don't, you do it. I'm first gonna get my hands up in case you attack me again. I'm gonna step back. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't wanna fight.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't wanna fight you.
Okay.
But then if you insist and you keep coming, and then I will do what I need to do to stop you. immobilize you from attacking me.
Okay.
Okay, and Taekwondo has kicks and punches and stuff in it, and also a lot of us learn some other things as well.
Right.
Which I've learned some other disciplines as well.
Right. So you first you'd warn me,
Yes,
and then if I insist, then you would have to defend yourself. That's what
exactly.
it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to tell you I'm a black belt and this and that. I'm just
No.
going to say, I don't want to fight. Back
Right.
off.
Yeah.
Okay, and then if you come at me, then we have an issue.
We have an issue there. You started in Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
What's the difference between Taekwondo in Texas and the Cayman Islands? How big is it in Texas compared to the Cayman Islands? It
Right.
is growing our...
It's in Texas. It's very much more developed.
Yeah.
We have so many. We got thousands and tens of thousands of athletes.
Okay.
Where here we only have a few, and they're just beginning.
Yeah.
We have Olympic and world champions in Houston, Texas, where I'm from.
Mhm.
Okay, that are friends of mine. So it's very well developed, and but we can get there.
Yeah.
It's just going to take a while. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
So
So
we
it's actually growing in the Cayman Islands then?
it's growing. We just took a dozen kids to Florida in April for an AAU Taekwondo qualifier,
Yeah.
where they qualified, all of them qualified to go to AAU Taekwondo Nationals in Fort Lauderdale, Florida next month.
Okay.
And so they're all going, they're all registered already, and it's going to be a huge event. We're going to have over 3,000 athletes competing.
Okay.
And I was told yesterday 2,000 to 2,500 of those are Olympic-style sparring competitors.
Oh, it's
So-
an Olympic, involved in Olympic.
Well, some of them will end up in the Olympics someday.
Oh,
Okay, because AAU is a national organization, and it's growing. It's a grassroots organization, and it's growing. Individuals to be able to hopefully, go internationally and compete, and maybe go to the Olympics.
Okay. And what is the 3-year plan of the federation here in Cayman?
How many years?
3 years.
3-year
What would you
plan.
like to achieve in
The
3
3-year plan would be to have numerous black belts.
Yes.
Okay, because we've got
Upgrading,
a lot of like
upgrading.
yellow belts and green belts or whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe in 3 years we could have some numerous black belts, and we can then some of the older ones can become instructors.
Yes.
And we can spread it more. But the goal is also to get them up there and get them going to international competitions
International competition.
and compete for the country
Yes.
under the Cayman flag.
Under
The
the-
only where they can really compete as the Cayman Island Federation at the Pan American Games, the World Championships, the Olympics. The only way they can do that is through the federation.
Through the federation.
And so we're growing that. In 3 years, I believe we will have some at some international events around the world.
All around the world. And how do you find the clinics in the Brock here? How do you find the clinics with the kids?
They were awesome. Okay? It's their first time being introduced to some of this, and it's obvious, But they were following the instructions very well. They would, they'd fall off a little bit, and I'd remind them, and they would do it, then. So that's very, very good to see.
Right.
And they had enthusiasm. Okay?
Right.
You heard them yelling and everything. So that's the enthusiasm. I had a lot of questions with them and everything.
Christians, right?
Yes. So,
Christians are good too.
right, and I could see some athletes too.
Oh.
Some people are just natural athletes,
Yes.
and they could really, really get good. And then the ones that aren't natural athletes can still get really, really good too if they work at it.
Right.
And I think they saw, 'cause one little girl told me, "Man, Taekwondo is hard work." And I said, "Yes, it is, but anything that's worth something is, it's hard."
So, what do you have to say to the people in Taekwondo gonna see this interview? What do you want to say to the community, Cayman Islands and all where Taekwondo is concerned?
Yes, I would encourage everyone, anytime we have some seminars over here, and hopefully eventually we get a full-time instructor over here on Cayman Rock, and of course we have schools in Grand Cayman already, and hopefully we can grow this community with Taekwondo, all right? And we can instill discipline and self-control in the children and just help the community so much. by doing that. And then hopefully we find some athletes in here that get serious and want to develop them into becoming international athletes. And then they can make the country proud.
Master David Leider, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Again, this is Island Up in Sport. My name is Leonard Haney. I feel international today. I'm at Taekwondo. I've learned so much. I hope you have learned too, different belts and what the Cayman Islands hope to achieve. Again, you can join me on Island Up in Sport. Take care. Have a good day.